Like many people, I've been waiting for information on Starfield for a very long time now. Unfortunately, we're still not a lot closer to getting much information on Starfield. It's all still very vague, but at the very least we've now got a trailer and a very short making-of documentary that was available on the Washington Post website. The release date for Starfield has also been announced, the 11th of November 2022, so quite a wait at this point. Bethesda have also confirmed that Starfield will be an Xbox exclusive, which also means that it will be coming to PC. Now, what we're seeing on screen at the moment is the footage from the teaser trailer. I guess we'll call it a teaser trailer as it was pretty short. But what it does confirm is there is a spaceship in Starfield, and it does seem to suggest pretty heavily that we will be able to fly this ourselves. Now, in some concept art coming up in just a moment, we'll be able to see a whole bunch of different environments, which I would imagine are from different planets. We know from previous statements from Bethesda that planets are, to an extent at least, procedurally generated. How much of a planet we can walk around, how large the environments are, is a matter of time before we actually find out. It's also very much worth mentioning at this point that it's pretty obvious Bethesda have done significant damage to their reputation. So they've got a lot to recover from with Bethesda. There's going to be a lot of mistrust out there. That's totally understandable. People don't want to get hyped for another Bethesda game only to be let down. So if I'm being perfectly honest here, that does surprise me somewhat that they've announced the game nearly 18 months away or very close to it. That's a lot of time for hype to be built up. The Fallout 4 release schedule was a little bit better, a short release window from the announcement and hitting people very quickly with it. It seems though that Bethesda are pretty keen on releasing some form of dev diaries at least before that turns up or before the game actually releases. So what we're seeing on screen is some footage from the Washington Post. The link to the full video can be found in the video description. There you'll hear Todd Howard talking over this, giving a bit of promo detail, and of course the first few seconds of the clip, which I haven't included right here. What we do get to see is a whole bunch of concept art as well as some production footage as well. So let's backtrack and take a quick look at some of those environments. Also, if anyone's feeling especially knowledgeable about this, do you think there's a significance to this date and time? So this ship design has featured prominently in everything we've seen today about Starfield. This very heavily suggests that this is the ship we will fly in Starfield. The question remains as to whether this is the only ship we will fly in Starfield. I'd say at this point that's quite likely, but also it's probably likely we'll be able to modify it in some way. Now for me at least, this is quite a standout design. It's going to be quite instantly recognisable as the ship from Starfield. So if that is the case, it would also suggest to me that we won't be building our own ships in Starfield, but you know, personally I'm quite happy with that. I'd rather a good RPG rather than a build a spaceship simulator. Speculation of course though, so let's wait and see. The sheer variety of environments, or at least in terms of concept art that we see in this video, is really encouraging to me, and I've got to be honest, it is very interesting. Basically, having a spaceship, as well as the ability to travel to many different planets, or well, more than one planet at least, is a bit pointless without also having a variety. Over in the distance there we can see what appears to be some alien creatures, and I'd say, I'd hazard a guess here also, some potentially hazardous environments. I've got this next clip on a loop here because, well, there's something quite interesting going on with the planet. Can't even guess what it is here, but I'd say maybe there's a spaceship coming in from the top left corner of the screen there, and that is the trail it's leaving behind. But I could be completely wrong there. There's also some other effect going on here. Maybe this is the pole of the planet. I don't really know. Either way, very interesting. Definitely clearly concept art, but let me know what you think is going on here in the comments section below. Judging from this piece of art, I'd say it's highly unlikely that different planets are going to be just purely about outside environments. After all, we can see what looks to be a very sci-fi based city here, and a pretty large one at that. So hopefully this means a lot of huge, very big internal areas to walk around in. For me, one of the things that makes a key concept for Bethesda games, that is the Fallout series and the Elder Scrolls series, is the ability to walk into cities and towns, meet with all the NPCs and pick up new quests. So hopefully that's what we're going to see in places like this. And talking of Elder Scrolls and Fallout, both of them have their own variation on dungeons, so it doesn't surprise me at all to see a screen and area like this. There does seem to be a vehicle in the background there. We saw right at the start of the trailer that there was a mech walking around outside, so maybe that's also a pilotable vehicle. We then move on to what appears to be a hangar bay of some type. A lot of different things going on here. Don't want to speculate too much though, at least not at this particular point. But that said, could this be a potential area where we outfit upgrades? Or maybe it's just a simple hangar? Who knows? Another look at a city, this time just outside the walls, maybe just inside. One thing I really do like about the ship design here, as well as the overall concept art, is it's very reflective of an older sci-fi era. This next image is in extreme contrast to the last outside environment we saw, that one which seemed to be on a rocky, deserty type planet. Clearly a jungle of some type here, albeit a very much alien one. I'm kind of hoping then that exploring around various environments forms a key part of the Starfield gameplay. Of course, it's important to keep in mind at this point that not everything shown in the concept art will necessarily make it into the game, but the fact that, Bethesda seemed to be quite keen on giving us an introduction and an overview of the production over the next year and a half could be a good sign that most of what we see at least should make some form of appearance. A very unusual looking oil rig styled city here. And finally, an area that looks as though it could have been lifted right out of Star Wars. So there we have it, our first look at Starfield. Still very low on information, still very vague. Important of course not to build the hype up too much here, but I'm definitely looking forward to learning more about this game. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys and girls next time.